Hello, both sides of the conversation family. We welcome you to this virtual space crafted especially for you. My name is Jada Curry, and I'm both sides of the conversation's marketing director and graphics design specialist. I want to take some time to ground us all as a community into this space we are about to open up in, so let's go through our community standards. Both sides of the conversation is providing a safe and honest space for open conversation, so we ask that you all be respectful of that. We also ask that you be respectful of each panelist, host, and participant. We do encourage healthy debates and conversations. Don't personalize anything with anyone. This includes name-calling, bullying, trolling, or shaming. This will not be allowed or tolerated. Your perspective is yours. It is not a prescription. You do not have to agree, but show respect. These community standards apply to all of our live shows and any virtual spaces that we hold on social media, including YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. We want to make sure that we are caring for each other as a community. This is our priority in all of our endeavors as both sides of the conversation. With that being said, I hope you enjoyed today's show and continue to stay in touch with us via YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, or all of them. All right, thank you for listening and see you soon.
Welcome, everybody, to both sides of the conversation. I'm John Henry, Executive Director. Today is Tuesday, so you know what that means. We're going to have another Hidden Gem segment where we continue to highlight our Black and Brown businesses, as well as those community leaders and organizations that are doing positive things to impact our community. And tonight we have a full house. We have some Dreamkeeper folks here. We have some powerful folks that's going to be here tonight. And we're going to learn a little bit about them and their organizations and the work that they're doing to impact our community. So I'm excited about tonight's Hidden Gem show. With that being said, I want to give a couple of shout outs to a number of stuff that's been going on as you all been following me through the social media. We've been doing some stuff and just having a little impact here and there, just touching the lives of our people and making sure that we're doing the work. But first, want to give a huge shout out to the Time Done folks and to the CSJ folks for a phenomenal policy retreat that I was a part of this weekend. Denise, Gwen, a number of our San Francisco folks was there to be a part of that policy retreat. Phenomenal event. Just to be a part of it. I am so honored to be a part of it and just kind of, work into some of the legislative stuff that is happening behind the scenes to impact our community. And when I say these folks came together to work hard and come up with some phenomenal ideals that's going to really impact our community when we're talking about our reentry folks, our survivors of crime and victims of crime, and just the housing and some of the things that they came together with. And I was just honored to be a part of. Phenomenal event. Was down there in LA and came back just excited, energized, just to be a part of that and understand what some of these lawmakers, senators are really trying to do to help impact our community, and just to have the community folks and community organizations throughout the state of California to be a part of that process was something huge. So I just want to give a huge shout out to Denise and the folks that connected with us, Gilbert, Terrence. It was just a number of folks that's doing some very, very impactful stuff. So I'm just honored to be a part of that. Also want to give a huge shout out to our Black Panther Party for their donation. Continue to support us and the work that we're doing, as well as our early African-American early ed educators. Shout out to Miss Mary and to the folks over here in the OMI supporting both sides of the conversation, understanding how important that these media resources is to the community and just supporting them. We thank you all for the support, and then want to give a huge shout out to our continued sponsorship and our sponsors who continue to believe in our mission and what we're doing. So I want to give a huge shout out to YCD, Collective Impact, East Oakland Collective, our Dreamkeeper initiatives, and the folks that just behind us in the scenes just supporting us. We thank you, and we appreciate all the continued support as we continue to move forward with this platform. With that being said, I want to jump into a couple of the world announcements and then get on into tonight's show. And shout out to the African American Arts and Culture District for putting on a phenomenal Halloween costume party for our community this weekend, and all of the events that took place throughout the Bay Area to make sure that our young people had a safe place to come out and still be in the Halloween spirit, to get candy and dress up. So I want to say a huge shout out to all those organizations that did stuff. There was stuff going on in Oakland, stuff going on in San Francisco. So thank you to all those community organizations to making sure our young people had a safe place to come get candy and enjoy themselves in a safe environment. So that was definitely a highlight for the week. And with that being said, Minneapolis voters are deciding today about scrapping the police department. 18 months after George Floyd murder, the Minneapolis voters are getting to decide how different their city's policing should be. A ballot has went out, or residents could sign up to say if they want to replace the police department with a new department or a new public safety. This is big, as they're trying to do this there to get the electoral test to see what reforms could happen and how could this look like moving forward in our country. So just important stuff happening out there, and hopefully this motto that they're having could be something that we could use across this country, as we are still dealing with violence in our community from police officers and arresting. There's more and more stories that are happening. We just had a young lady who was dragged out of her car by the police. Different things are still happening. So we are not out of the will works of how police interact with our community. We have to continue to stand in solidarity together, to hold those accountable, and make sure that the police that are in our community are doing the right thing by community, and making sure that they are being the real stewards of the community like they're supposed to. So we still got work to do, but just wanted to put that out. The Chicago Public Schools settled a $1.2 million case for a student who attempted suicide and later died. Sad story. But the family did receive that settlement today. I know that was a big news all over the news. So just happy to see that part of that closure for that family could happen. Sad and tragic as we are dealing with suicide in our communities more and more, especially in the Black and brown community during this COVID period, and just going through these times that we are in. As you all know, we are in a crisis in this country. When you're talking about housing, when you talk about mental health, you talk about the violence and the things that are taking place in our community, we are in a crisis. And a lot of times mental health is being strained during this crisis, and some folks are definitely at the deep end of it. And we got to continue to do our work, and we'll continue here to advocate for more mental health, more funding in mental health, to make sure that our community folks have that opportunity and access to get help, as we know so many of our people are being impacted with mental health issues in the days coming and more. With that being said, I want to give a huge shout out to East Oakland Collective. Today, they had their Tuesday feed where they continue to impact our community, blessing the people over there, getting food and groceries and hot meals out to our community. You all know they do 5 days a week, and we're just happy to be a part of them and helping get the information out to the community so that our folks can continue to get blessed with groceries and catered meals. And the information is on the screen. If you would like to support, volunteer, donate, or just get services, please go to the East Oakland Collective's website, or you could go to our website. They're one of our community partners, and you can click on the link and get access to them. With that being said, East Oakland Collective and Both Sides of the Conversation is presenting a Both Sides of the Bay Unified Family and Friends Skate Day that is happening November 13th. Only thing that we have to make sure is we don't get rain. Hopefully it don't rain, but the event is still planned to happen. It'll be happening at the Liberation Park at 7101 Foothill Boulevard in Oakland. This is going to be a phenomenal event for our families on both sides of the bay to come together, have a day to just enjoy music, skating. And there's so many things going on. And before we get fully into the winter season, we wanted to have one event to bring our communities together and just enjoy community. There will be free meals. There will be a lot of number of things that we'll have at the event for community. There will be skates. If you don't have skates and you have young folks, family members, or don't have skates, we will have free rental skates out there. I think it's about 200, so hopefully you get there before they all out, but we will have free skates for the community as well. But if you have your customized skates or your nice skates, we're going to be taking pictures, and our photographers going to be out there catching out all the cool designer skates, because we know our people like to have those designer skates with the lights and all of the nice stuff. So we'll be out finding out who has the nice skates, and maybe we'll get a raffle prize or something to them. So that's happening November 13th, 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. Looking forward to see you all out there. It is a registered event, so please go to our Eventbrite and sign up if you would like to be a part of that event, and we'll be sharing it on our social medias all this week and next week coming up to it. We've already been sharing it, but we'll start emphasizing as we get close to the event. Also, we're going to be doing a partnership with the East Oakland Collective for the Feed the Hood 19th event for them. This is the 19th year they've been doing the Feed the Hood. If you don't know about it, this is a huge community give back that they do every year around Thanksgiving to bless the people in the community. They're going to have medical services out there, food distribution, a lot of PPE kits, care stuff for community. So that'll be happening the following weekend, November 20th from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. And it'll be all the volunteers and all of the action will be happening at the East Oakland Collective office, which is at 7800 MacArthur Boulevard in Oakland. We'll be out there. We'll be supporting this, and we'll be out in the community helping make sure that our communities are impacted with food, groceries, and resources before we approach the Thanksgiving weekend. And then we'll be having some other events coming up as well after that for Thanksgiving and Christmas. So be looking out for that information as we get it out. We have the OMI Culture Participation Sneaker Ball is coming up on Friday, November the 12th. It is located at 650 Capitol Street. Our own Maurice Rivers and the OMI Invest Black folks is putting this event on. The doors open up at 5:30, but the event will start at 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. They're going to have a DJ, food, dancing. This is a vaccination-proof event, so please make sure that you have your vaccination card and practice all social distancing for that event. And we'll be getting that information up on the screen for folks to reach out. If you need to reach out to Maurice, we'll get his number up there as well if you need to. With that being said, for our both sides of the conversation announcements, if you would like to donate and support us, we have many ways you could donate and support. You can also do it with Smile Amazon. And every time you purchase something from Amazon, you can put a small donation to help our platform continue to grow as we are looking for funding and support for staffing and different things that we're trying to build capacity. So you can also utilize the Smile for Amazon if you would like to help support us that way as well. Or you could just go to the normal donate or however you would like to go. We have a number of ways you could donate to both sides of the conversation. This Thursday, we're going to have another educational presentation. Last week, we had a phenomenal that was an epic conversation. For all you that missed it, go back and check out last Thursday financial literacy educational presentation. It was a powerful, lot of information, great tools. And this week we're going to have another guest, Miss Lorraine Franklin Taylor. She's going to be doing a presentation on financial I can't get my words out tonight. I can't get out. It's a financial literacy class that I don't know what's going on. I can't get my words out tonight, but it's a financial literacy thing that she's going to be covering for community as we're going to continue to drive in financial literacy education as we are getting closer to the end of the year. I know people are getting ready for the shopping mode, but because of the financial issues that are impacting our community, we want to make sure that our community get the right information when it comes to investing and making sure that we're doing the right things to budget and get out of debt. And then our Sunday conversations, as you all know, there'll be two more for the end of this year. Our next one will be on November 21st. We'll be having our relationship part 2 conversation. As you all know, that was one of the biggest conversations we had on this platform. The amount of response we got from community to have a part 2, we listened to the community. So on November 21st, we'll be having that part 2 conversation. And then our last Sunday conversation will be on December the 19th, as we'll get ready for our holiday break and start breaking off of some of the holiday stuff. We're going to be talking about the doulas and midwives. We have some amazing guests that's going to come on and talk about that. We think this is a very important conversation. A lot of feedback from the community about the doulas and midwives. So we're looking forward to that. With that being said, I'm going to close my mouth here and start getting open. Let me bring up my brother Nate. I see Nate in the building. I didn't know if he was going to make it tonight. What's up, brother Nate?
What's up, John? I'm good, man. Just enjoying now. We're in November. It's starting to be that that holiday feel now. Right. I really want to give a quick shout out to Draymond Green from the Warriors. He donated 300 pounds of candy 300 pounds of candy to our junior NBA league on Saturday, man. That was amazing. Just a good dude, man. I met dude a few years ago, and he's always been supportive of what the San Francisco Rebel does. And man, when they drove up with 300 pounds of candy, I said, wow, this is just this is amazing. So just want to shout out Draymond. But
Man,
yeah, let's get it.
Yeah, and thank you, Nate, for all the work you're doing with our NBA Junior League, man. I am like watching the clips, man. Phenomenal stuff you all are doing, and thank you. And I know you're doing the groceries for the community, for the families. We appreciate you for that, Nate. And I just wanted to make sure that we highlight you as well for continuing to impact our community. As you said, we are getting into this holiday season, and we know in our community, anxiety, depression, things happen. And right now, with the amount of unemployment and the financial impact that's happening in our community, these programs like East Oakland Collective, what you're doing to get groceries and food, and there's a number of toy drives and coat drives that we're going to be getting out to the community. Our people need help. If you have coats, warm blankets, as we are getting into this winter season, please reach out to us. We'll have a list of a number of spots you could drop off those coats and blanket donations because our people need it, and it is getting cold out here quick. And before we move on, this Sunday, don't forget, community, to reset your clock back 1 hour, because I always forget this Sunday is the Sunday we turn our clocks back an hour. So I don't want anybody rushing out the door late, thinking they late. This Sunday, make sure you set your clocks back as we are heading into the winter's month, and time is getting short here. So with that being said, Nate, we're going to go ahead and bring up our hidden gems for tonight. We'll get started. We're going to bring up Miss Tamara and Miss Sophia from Citizen Films, and they are Dreamkeeper Initiative. So we excited tonight to have some Dreamkeepers. Welcome to Both Sides of the Conversation. Go ahead and introduce yourselves to the community and let them know who you all are and what you're doing. And when you're ready to share your screen, just let me know and I'll get it up for you.
Thank you for the warm introduction, I should say, and having us here at Both Sides of the Conversation. As you said, my name is Tamara Walker. I am a community engagement and outreach specialist for Citizen Film. Currently working on a project with Buchanan Mall, which is in the Western Addition. It's a 5-block parklet that we've been working on for the last 7 years. And I'm going to go ahead and let Sophie introduce herself now.
Hi, well, it's really great to be here. I'm really thrilled about what you guys are doing, and really honored to be able to share the stories we're doing. Yeah, as Tamara said, the work we've been doing is in the Western Addition. There's this 5 blocks of the Buchanan Street Mall that is that the community said we need to fix this place, and so we've been using our storytelling to invite people into that conversation and tell us what they want. So we did start 7 years ago, and it's been a long process, but it's pretty beautiful.
Wow, powerful stuff. Looking forward to seeing your presentation and just asking some questions afterwards to see, how you all going to be able to impact the community, and then how community can get involved with the stuff that you're doing at the Buchanan Mall.
So currently what we're working on in the Buchanan Mall is the Opportunity Hub, which is an innovative way we've created with community of hearing that on the Buchanan Mall, there's nothing out there, right? You can't sell anything. You can't buy a cup of coffee. You can't do anything there. So we have come up with this Opportunity Hub that is actually going to be kind of movable and interchangeable around Buchanan Mall Park, where people will actually be able to sell their goods as entrepreneurs. So part of our Dream Keepers initiative is this bringing on new entrepreneurs who will actually be able to bring their products there to the Buchanan Mall. And that's what we're here to talk about today, this Opportunity Hub and what it looks like and how we feel about it, since we're looking for also the community to continue to engage about what actually goes on this Opportunity Hub. It is actually being built right now in partnership with Success Centers. And we're really excited to bring something new that is actually going to generate more commerce to come back into the community, so the dollar stays in the community a lot longer.
Wow, very powerful stuff. Now, I also want to ask you, as you build up this mall and get the young entrepreneurs, because I know y'all about the young folks too, how are we going to get those young folks and those businesses down to the Ferry Building? Because I'm on these calls, and I'm like, we need to get these Black and brown businesses down here to get some of this tourist money. They've been pushing us out down there for a long time. So I hope that's y'all end goal. Get our young folks down there to get some of that tourist money now.
We're working on it. We're working on it at all angles. You know it.
All right, I'm just making sure because I want our young entrepreneurs to be thriving, and we want sustainable business for our young people. And we know there's a lot of dollars that come into the city through tourism, and a lot of times the Black and brown community is pushed out of those hot locations where that money comes in. So I am fighting, and I'm asking, and I'm scratching, I'm knocking on doors because I know we had one event down there last year for Juneteenth, but I've been asking them, where are we at with it? We need to make sure that we get our Black vendors down there to get some of that tourist money down there so we can help, impact our community. So yeah, I'm there fighting. When y'all let me know, I'll be there with y'all. We got to get our young folks down there.
Yeah, hey, John, before we go to the share screen tomorrow, I just want to give you your roses because I know you guys been working hard with this. And I've been in some meetings, and we've been to Plaza East, some of those meetings, and getting tenant inputs, and some of those ambitions they have I know are kind of wild sometimes, and you guys just take it all with a smile, and finally it's here. So I'm just so happy to be a person who grew up in that community to see something positive that's happening and the amount of support that is getting. Too bad. I mean, I'm just so mad that it's had to wait this long to do it, but hey, I'm happy it's here, and I'm here to support it. I know Citizen Film has been, changed a lot of people's perspectives and lives, especially young lives in the community. So I'm just happy it's here. So I want to just thank you guys.
Thank you. I appreciate that, Nate. That means a lot, actually. That really means a lot, as you know.
you be doing your thing in the community.
I do. But my biggest thing is honestly connecting communities. So it's like seniors, mid-age, and youth, right? We got to connect each other and continue to tell the stories so that we actually take this next generation and elevate them. The disconnect is there, and we have to find that connection. So it's not just about the park for us. It's really about rebuilding this community as a whole, and every community, not just Western Addition. I'm talking about all communities, as you know, because y'all see me in all communities. But it's important that we reach back, get our youth, and bring them forward.
Definitely powerful stuff. But definitely we want to go ahead and check out the presentation. Sophie, you can take over whenever you're ready to share, and we'll get it up.
Yeah, great. Well, I'll share my screen in just a sec, but I think, John Henry, you're exactly right. I think that one of the ideas that came out of these community conversations is how do you create stepping stones that are they're scalable? So, I think when we first, like Nate was saying, when we first started working in Plaza East, people were saying, well, I can't go over there. I'm here. I can't cross that block. I can't go that far. So we're saying, okay, baby steps. And what does baby steps look like? It looks like building something in your own backyard that you get to test drive. And part of the beauty of the Dream Keepers initiative and just the fact that this work has kind of come at a particular time. There are resources for entrepreneurs to learn the skills of being a good entrepreneur. The OEWD, the Office of Economic and Workforce Development, and Renaissance are doing trainings. So there's 6-week trainings, there's 4-week trainings. I don't know. And those are the kinds of things that you need, right? So some people are ready to go, and some people are ready to start learning, and people meet people where they're at. So, part of the, and I will share my screen just a second. Part of what I'll show you is, we started with here's a rendering from the designers, and what we learned working with the designers basically, whether they're professional landscape architects or their Department of Public Works or their Recreation and Parks Department, they don't build stuff for people. They build parks and benches and swings for everyone. But what we heard loud and clear was that the Buchanan Mall isn't just for everyone. It really needs to be a park for the Black community that lives there, that has lived there, that has been displaced from the Western Addition. It needs to look like the Western edition. It can't be generic, but that's not what they do. So the Opportunity Hub was the first step of saying, let's build something, let the community build something and figure it out. And whether there needs to be one or there needs to be three, we'll see. And that's also true with the art. And that's also, so there's a lot of layers, and it may take a while, but we're committed to the fight. So, okay, now I'm going to get
that's powerful that you said that. That's great that we are listening to the community. I think that is the biggest thing that we're missing. And we had Sergeant Grady and Officer Dudley, when they was doing their presentation, they was like, we did all this stuff and we didn't listen to the community. They called us out and we had to go back and redo it. And I think that's just something, I think it's powerful that, in order to make progress and change, to really have that impact, it is definitely, when we're talking about community, being able to hear from the community what they would like to have. And I think more and more organizations are starting to lean towards being a little bit more transparent with what's going on, and not just saying, hey, you guys are stuck with this. This is what it is. Getting the community involved. So shout out to you guys for doing that. I think that is huge, because the people that are going to utilize it are the people that live there, and they need to have their part of their community and their culture in the investment of building and planning. So I really appreciate you all advocating for that and making sure community voices are very cool.
Yeah, and we learned in the beginning, we partnered with the Exploratorium, and we learned, they're a museum, but they're a science museum. We learned that it doesn't have to be right the first time, that sometimes you just have to keep making mistakes and try different things. So I think that approach has really helped us say, well, step one, and if that doesn't work, try it differently. So that's exciting. Okay, I will. So the first thing, let's see. So I'm going to put up a picture here. That is, so when we first started, the designers came up with like, okay, this is the new beautiful park, and what does it look like to make sure there's a place for coffee or food or offerings. So they came up with this idea, and then let's see here, and so we said, well, what else could it be? What's happening when it's when it's shut up? Like, is it going to be ugly? Is it going to be beautiful? And we said, well, it has to be beautiful. It has to have, whether it's pictures of people from the community or artwork or something, the thing itself, when it's locked, should be beautiful. And I should say, you can't see it here, but it should be, it should serve the community when it's shut, which what we learned from the last 6 years is that people need to charge their phones. People need electricity. People, like you're hopping along and your phone's dying. Where's a charging station? Where's a place where you can plug in for a little bit? And we realized that the hard way. People unplug the lights in order to get their phones charged. But how can we build that in? So you can't see that here, but that's definitely that interactive piece of, oops, and then we're thinking, okay, so what does it look like when it's open? So there could be a place for, whether you're a merchant and you're selling wares, whether you're an artist and you're showing your work, whether you've got your clothes, whether you've got books, or whether you're doing a Zumba class and you got to roll out your mats and play some music and get people moving. It can be very versatile. You can see on the top, we got little solar panels so that it can be independently powered. And again, with the Exploratorium's ongoing partnership, can you use it as a learning station? Is this a place where kids can come from MoMagic, pop out and get a hands-on lesson of something, some kind of science? So there's places to put things, there's places to show, and ideally the thing would hold chairs and those yoga mats so that it can have a whole opening. Let me see if I can do one more. This is kind of the idea that it could have a closed and an open, and then there's display counters, and so we're still in the building phase. But part of what's amazing is we have a but an entrepreneurship group that is giving us feedback about what they think they want. And then we do have a link to a survey we'd love people to take that is really about what kind of entrepreneur are you and what are your needs. So I think those are the pictures. So I'll stop sharing my screen unless anybody wants to see any of the other ones again.
So I got a quick question now. That kiosk, are there going to be multiple kiosks, or is it just one huge kiosk?
Currently, it's one huge kiosk. Like she said, we're hoping to have 3 eventually all across there, so that there's not just one. Buchanan Mall, how it's being built out right now is like block by block. So as the blocks are rolled out, you'll start to see another kiosk being built. This is sort of like the tester, right? We want to hope that everything works out well and we can get community to actually organize to use this space so that we can say, see, it worked, Rec and Park. See, it worked. We told you that it would, and this was fine. So we're bringing another one, right? And then we can take that input and maybe take it down there to the ferry where you want us. You get what I mean? To implement other things. What we have to do is teach the city how to actually work with us.
And I think that's very powerful. And then I seen on the picture, the open mall area. Is that where the other vendors will be able to set up there as well, or is that going to be other space that you all planning to occupy?
Good question. So each block has got its own design plan. So the first block that is that it has a full plan is this, we call it the senior block, but right in front of Rosa Parks Senior Center, so Golden Gate to Turk. So that's mostly about seniors and the kind of things seniors want to do. So there's exercise equipment that's good for seniors. There's kind of a seating area, a little plaza space. There's a space for Tai Chi or kind of movement stuff. So there is a spot where we can see that this would work there, but they got to build that part. So the planning is still happening, but there are definitely conversations about what does it look like to have a place where you can have food trucks. So you can have multiple things happen. So you have your permanent, and then you have, it's a party, and this is where it's, safe. You can hook up, you can get water or power or whatever you need as a business.
Yeah, that's cool. That's the exact question I was going to ask, because we want to make sure that it's a sustainable place, right? And we want to make sure that the activities and the things that are happening is actually going to impact the community that is serving. But also we have to be, intentional to think about how do we get, our healthy food and organic foods out there, right? And maybe we get off the grid to have a week or once a month where they come up and we can have some diversified food in the community. I don't know. I'm just thinking, but those are the kind of things when I hear mall, I'm thinking about how mobile is it? How much access are we really going to have? And then when you talk about malls, right, the modern malls, like you said, there's so many things that you can do. And I just wanted to see, and I know you guys are not there yet, but just what all can we do to help impact the community? Maybe it's movie night. Maybe we have, some arts, and maybe we take the Sundance Jazz Festival and bring it down to the Buchanan Mall. I don't know, something like that. But, having the power, having the water, having the resources. Now, is there a plan to have like porta potties and things permanent there? Or what are you guys thinking about restroom access? Or is that's way out there?
We don't currently have restroom access because we partner with all of the African American Culture Complex, or either Ella Hill Hutch or Rosa Parks Senior Building or Plaza East. We normally have access to a restroom because everyone loves us, right? At this point now. So it's like, we're doing an event. This is what's going on. Can we leave the bathrooms open so everyone else has, But I think when you think about something like that, John Henry, that you bring up, if Sundance came down or movie night, yeah, we'd want to get a pit stop there, right? Or something that actually Nate can probably make that happen at any time I need it. Now I'm thinking about it.
I have to say that, right? Because there's so many spaces coming up in community, and I'm tired of people urinating on the curbs, okay? And I'm like, we got to do a better job in planning to put in the budget for porta potties. Are we going to have to see to build one of those nice ones that they have in the Tenderloin and bring it up into the Buchanan Mall so they can monitor it? But I am tired of it. I see it in all the communities. I'm tired of my young people, coming into the community and everybody's urinating on the concrete and all that stuff. We got to think about that when we plan this stuff. Got to have restrooms, got to have water, got to have electricity. We have to make that a part of everything that we're promoting, so that we make sure that water, electricity, and restroom resources are there. Because I am tired of these folks doing this in our community.
Yep, I think also, John, this is huge. A lot of people who may not be familiar with that mall, it's, you know, for years we've lost a lot of young people and things in that area, in that space. And for something positive to come out of this, it's going to be take some baby steps and not huge steps, because people are still hesitant to go past Turk and go past Golden Gate. And I remember the days back when I was growing up, boy, they used to shoot from Golden Gate to Fulton Street. So you just imagine how that is. And it's a big step in the right direction. I think it's much needed. And, you know, all that stuff is going to look good, but it's going to take time. It's going to take planning. And it's not going to only take Sophie and Tamara. It's going to take that whole community to buy in, and everyone to be on hands deck when we are doing something like you said, John, a movie night or something like that. We got to have all hands on deck. And that's going to be the key to success. This is like a sense of ownership for the community. You know, Sophia and Tamara and company, they got the job done. Now it's up to us, the community, to kind of embrace this and take care of it. Look out for our senior. You know, we got a lot of seniors in the area, and we got, I mean, like Tamara said, this is a mixed bunch here, and we got to be respectful of everybody and everything around. And it's definitely going to take all the resources from our community. I keep saying community, John, because that's what we're about. Our community is going to have to take care of this.
It's for the community. Just like he said, we're here to do the baby steps along the way. Like I said, to tell the city what we hear the community is saying they need. But really, this is for the community, the people that live there. We want them to take ownership of it. I don't want to forever be out there saying this is what needs to be done, you know, or this, I want to join and say, and come back later on and say, look what happened.
Yeah, I agree with y'all. I would like to be a part of it. So once you all figure it out, I would love to do a both sides of the conversation, Sunday conversation live at the Buchanan Mall in collaboration with the Citizen Film folks, and we can record it live and we can get all the community to come out and have a positive event. I mean, that's what you all are doing, helping change the narrative. That's what we're trying to do here at both sides of the conversation, change the narrative. And it starts to doing these difficult conversations, difficult projects in our community, where sometimes it is not so great. But I think with the work of you all and community coming together, we could definitely change that narrative about that mall and that community and how we can impact it, especially when it comes to financially impacting it through sales and entrepreneurships and pop-ups, bring some of that equity to the community. So I love what you all are doing. Looking forward to the day you all launch. And just keep a spot open for both sides of the conversation. We'll come do a live show over there, and we'll have the community out asking questions with the community of how the Buchanan Mall impacts them and the work that you all done. And we can have it live for the community. They can tell how beautiful it is and how it impacts them.
Yes, yes. We have put in the comments, if people can see, there's a survey if you are an entrepreneur and you're interested in one of us making contact with you. So you stay on that list to make sure as this rolls out, you are informed of what's going on. There's also going to be an Entrepreneurs Kickstart workshop that's going to be happening November 22nd. We're wrapping up the final logistics about it. It'll be from 5:30 to 7 at Ella Hill Hutch on November 22nd. But if you fill that survey out and you put your information there, we'll make sure we reach out to you.
All right. And definitely when you all get that information, please send it over to us so that we can make sure that we blast it out on our social media, get it out to all of the folks in the community. Definitely want community a part of this. This is something huge. Like Nate say, we're going to make this community mall one of the spots that we're going to make happen, and we'll be a part of it to uplift and support it as well. Thank you all for the work that you continue to do. You know, it takes you all, the pillars of the community, the pillars of these organizations, to fight for the community when sometimes our community don't have the fight in them. But I hear you. The community, we got to turn it over and we got to stand up and make sure that it keeps going So thank you all for coming on tonight. We appreciate you all, the community. These are some of our Dreamkeeper folks. This is the work that they're doing to impact our community. When we talk about impact, things like this, when you're revitalizing the community, bringing equity to the community, bringing access and opportunities to the community, this is what it's about. We are proud of the work that you all are doing, and we're looking forward to continue to help support it any way we can here at Both Sides of the Conversation to uplift the work you're doing, because the impact that you all are doing with our young folks and our elders of the community is very powerful stuff, and we have to get community and everybody behind this movement of lifting up the community. So thank you all for coming on, being Hidden Gems tonight, letting the community know what you're doing as Dreamkeepers and what you're all doing for the Buchanan Mall. And we're looking forward to supporting, getting you all back on soon. Any updates, anything you all want to talk about, you're more than welcome to come back on, let community know, and definitely get those flyers to us, and we'll get them out to the community.
Thank you.
All right. Good evening. Thank you all. All right, community. With that being said, we're going to jump in to our next Hidden Gem. She's been waiting patiently. They all waiting patiently, but we'll get them up one at a time. We'll keep knocking them out here. We're going to bring up Miss Monique Turner. Powerful story, powerful sister doing some amazing work. I'm going to bring her up and let her introduce herself to community and let community know who you are, what you're doing, and how you impacting the people.
Hey, how y'all doing today? How's everybody doing? Okay, so my name is Monique Turner. I am born and raised San Francisco, Valencia Gardens to be exact. So what I'm doing now is I have a nonprofit organization. So we serve students K through 12, and we are in East County. So I would have loved to have my nonprofit. I tried to start my nonprofit in San Francisco. But you know what? Let me tell you what happens. We get a lot of no's when we're trying to do something, and especially in our own community, because they just feel like they know our past instead of really knowing what we can do. So I heard a lot of no's, but then here came the yes. So what we do is we have our program is more about social emotional learning. So we address the social emotional space through the lens of emotional intelligence. And so we do this through improv, through skits, and through visual arts programs. So we have a visual arts program, and we also have a academic accountability program, which is our AAA program. And that program is more for our college track program. So that program helps our students get on track for college. We work through personal statements. We do FAFSA. We do everything that they need to get on track for college and everything they need to get into college. So we help with that, the admissions part and everything like that. I'm also a self-published author. So I write books. I have children's books. I have adult books, self-help books. So let me just give you a little bit of the backstory of even why I have this nonprofit organization. So I served 5 years in federal prison. Once I came home from serving 5 years in federal prison, I got a vision. And once I got this vision from God said, start a nonprofit. So I always been into doing school and working with youth. I was a youth, right? You know, I don't know if you know, but if you grew up in the city back in the days, we used to have programs that would come to our projects and take us on field trips and things like that, especially in the summertime. So I would always think I was the instructor too. So God gave me this vision to start this nonprofit. And like I said, I tried to start it in San Francisco. It didn't work out. Took 3 years of hearing no. But then finally it was able to happen. So in 2013, that's when I actually launched the nonprofit organization with my wife. And so like I said, we started in one school, and now we are currently in 9 different schools, K through 12, Pittsburgh, Antioch, Oakley, and Mount Diablo Unified School District. And so that's the backstory to that. And so, like I said, I'm also a self-published author. Oh, and so what I love to do, I started another business, which is never personal, always purpose. So the nonprofit is called Family Purpose. Okay. And so that's the link up there. I'm sorry. That's the wrong link. So if you could put is www.familypurpose.info. That link works too, but that's just for something different. So www.familypurpose.info. Let me put it in the chat. And this link, if you are a parent,
I think that's up there. Is that it right there? It's on the screen.
Oh, yeah. If you're a parent, if you're a teacher, if you're a counselor, if you're an administrator, if you just have any type of connections or ties to a student, then go to www.familypurpose.info and fill out this questionnaire. And so the questionnaire will help me be able to, one, better get serve you, be able to give you advice if you need some advice around your child and your and the teacher, or if you are an educator and you feel like, you know what, you can use a girls empowerment at your school, then we would love to come to your school. So that's what I do, that I'm able to do at schools that we are not contracted with, is we host I Am Her Girls Empowerment Days. And these are really, really powerful. It's a full day event where we get with between 50 to 100 girls. It depends on however many girls that the school would like to attend the event at that time. But we cover in social media, we cover in bullying, cyberbullying, exposing themselves, threats, subliminal posts, self-love, self-care, self-beauty, body shaming. Everything that these young ladies are struggling with today is what we are covering. And so you can check me out. You can check our Girls Empowerment Days out on YouTube. You can go to Monique Turner, hashtag MPAP, if you would like to see a couple of the skits. Or you can, like I said, if you go here, I'll have your email information. So you'll be connected to our email. You will get information around the schools and the different things that we are doing. Our Girls Empowerment Day is unmatched to any other event that is happening in the schools when it comes to building healthy relationships and really allowing these young ladies. I'm telling you, every time we have a group of like 60 girls, I ask everybody, because we do this graffiti wall where they are able to release all the negative things that they've ever been called. And so the wall that you see is just like heartbreaking, because it's a full wall of bitch, hoe, slut, you stupid, you tramp, and all these negative names. So then I try to tell the girls, okay, so now we about to empower ourselves. Now, who are we, right? That's why it's called the I Am. So I'm like, I am beautiful. How many of y'all feel beautiful? It's so heartbreaking because only 2, maybe 3 girls out of a group of 60 will raise their hand and say that they feel beautiful. So we got to do something about that, right? And I like, so we do a little bit about it in the program. Afterwards, they feel good about themselves. They leave calling themselves queens. And so it's really amazing. And it just, I love it. I love it. As y'all can tell, talking about it just like does something to me. And we just hosted one on the October 28th at Pittsburgh High. And it was really amazing. And I just put a video up of that because, like I said, we cover social media. So all the girls did a TikTok challenge. It was really, really inspiring, because we got to meet our students right where they at. And so just like, I don't want to say it wrong, Tamara, I think I said it right. Tamara was saying, we have to bridge the gap, right? And so that's what we are all about. We know that it takes a village, because I'm raised in the 80s. In the 80s, we had the village. And that's what we need again, right? We need that sense of community back. And so we have programs also that we work with the teachers, the staff, and I host the emotional intelligence trainings. And so if you want like a staff development day, if you want to bring one of our trainings to your school, then you can. And it's the emotional intelligence training. And it's all about bridging the gap between the teachers and the students, allowing teachers to really, be aware of what our students are dealing with, and be aware that, just because they came in your classroom and you feel like they being disrespectful, you don't know what they just came home from. You don't know if they even went home last night. They may have slept on the streets, as some of our students do. They have been kicked out last night, but you don't have a clue of that. All you do is see that they came in your classroom or put their head down. Well, they tired. They need to go to sleep. So instead of saying, put your head up and get out of my class, right now teachers are able to have a sense of awareness and knowing how to respond to a situation like that in a different way, where we are addressing the situation in a positive way instead of in a negative way, because a problem on top of a problem, we can't get to the solution. And that's what we're all about. We're all about solutions to the problem. Okay. And so, so if you would like to connect with us, you can go to familypurpose.org, so that way you can see, that's our website, www.familypurpose.info. That is where you can fill out the questionnaire. If you would like to bring one of our event programs to your school, if you're a parent that needs some help with with your child, we could do that too. And if you on probation, really quick, if you on probation, I help people terminate their probation early. You don't need no lawyer to terminate your probation. A lot of people don't know that. A lot of people think that you need a lawyer in order to do it, or yet you got to wait and max that time out. No, you don't. So I terminated my probation 1.5 years early. I expunged my own record, and that's why I'm able to do what I do. And since then, I have helped multiple other people do the same thing. I haven't lost a motion yet. All glory to God. And I'm working on an motion right now that I'm about to send to this guy that's in New York. And so he about to get his record expunged too. So if you would like your record expunged, holla at me, because guess what? We need to reduce recidivism, and about keep going back to jail. That shit needs to stop today.
All right. So, as you spoke, I always try to put names to faces, but when you said VG, it just came back to me. I said, I know exactly who that is.
Ooh, I know exactly who that girl is.
But, very powerful stuff. I am amazed at the work that's going on for the young ladies in our community, and kudos to you. And there's a number of organizations that are driven and passionate about, the young ladies. And one of the things I want to talk about, because Nate is doing a lot of work with our young fellas, and I'm, about to launch my second cohort of mentoring for our young men. But what happens in our community is the young ladies get to work. And what happened is our young fellas in the community is not so many programming there for our young people. And I think sometimes it takes a little bit of both to get to our young males of the community. But I think it's just epic, the stuff that you're doing with the young ladies. I think that is a big part of what they need, especially dealing with social media. I'm dealing with a couple of things right now. We had some young ladies, expose themselves by taking pictures of themselves and sending it to people that they thought they was in relationships with, and they blasted out on social media. And then these girls want to commit suicide. And that's a big issue that's happening in our community. And a lot of times it's not talked about when we talk about bullying and shaming and things of that nature. So it's very powerful that you're doing that work with them. I think that is something that we have to continue to educate our young people about social media when they post things, especially of their bodies and things of that nature, and how exposure could get out there. So I think that's great. And just the way that you all are trying to empower the young females of the community, I think we need that as well, because I think our women in the community, as they develop and mature and do the right things, that also influence the males of the community as well. So we have more consciousness and more young women in the community doing the right things. I think it also sways our young males of the community to kind of follow suit. So I think that's very powerful. Go ahead, Nate.
Yeah, I think, with Monique, I think just hearing her story, with these young people, you got to have some kind of credibility, and there has to be trust. Monique has been there and done that, and she's a testament of what, these streets or whatever, the going down the wrong path can lead you. And for me, I lived in Antioch for 8 years, and now, Antioch, I call Antioch now the new San Francisco, because everyone is moved out there. And I think this program is much needed in Antioch, and I just applaud you for doing the work out there, because I don't think Antioch and Pittsburgh, that area wasn't ready for all these blacks to be coming out there so fast.
No, they wasn't.
And they're still scrambling on how to deal with certain things. I'm being consulted on a few different things out that way, but you are definitely on the right track. I definitely applaud you. I just saw something on the news about that kid with the Ku Klux Klan.
With the KKK.
Yeah, man. That just set everything back a little more. But I know with good people like you that's doing the work out there, you guys will definitely find a way. So I definitely want to just give my props to you and just wish you good luck along the way.
Thank you, Nate. I appreciate that. Thank you, John. I appreciate you too. Appreciate you for having me on.
No, definitely, and we're glad that you came on tonight, and we want to make sure that we uplift your organizations and the work that you're doing. And if there's any events that you're having, because I didn't really hear, are you doing this like quarterly, monthly, or do you have contracts? Like, how does that work? Like, are you just doing a pop-up? Like, how does that work?
So I'm contracted with schools to be in the schools during the day. So, we have contracts either 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, or 5 days. But the I Am Her Girls Empowerment Day is where schools can book that for me to come to their school for that one day. And so that happens, with most of the schools, it happens 3 times throughout the year. And like now, after the Christmas break, and then again after spring break. So it happens in 3 increments. but some schools can just do it one time. So it's really up to the schools. We also have it where it's followed by small groups and then one-on-one case management with the students that need it more, and so there's a lot of different things that we can do. I can even consult to the teachers and stuff, and so they can have somebody at their site actually run it. So there's a lot of different things and ways that we can we implement the girls empowerment. So again, if anybody would like to reach out, all you got to do is just go to familypurpose.info, and we'll respond within 48 hours, somebody from my team.
So real quick, now in doing this work,
Yes,
do you have a hybrid model where you do it virtually?
Yep. So
Okay.
we do it virtually. Virtually, it can happen like that. Me personally, though, I like in person, because in person is right that I'm able to connect with my girls. We get hype, we having fun, because it's really engaging. So it's not me just talking to them. They don't need nobody to talk to them. They don't even want that, right? So it's literally where we hanging out for these 4 to 6 hours, engaging all day long, and where they are able to use their mind and put themselves in these problems that they are creating for themselves. And now they have to create these solutions. And so it's really good, because it's like, oh man, I didn't know I could do it like that. Oh yeah, you're right. So without me telling them, they seeing it for themselves, because like I said, it's visual arts. So we do a lot of improv and skits and role playing.
Okay, I'm just asking. I mean, I think the in-person thing is always have to be there. But what I found too is doing the virtual model, you're able to reach more kids throughout the Bay Area. Because again, right now, I was on a couple of the school district calls, and there's not a lot of funding for our Black and brown kids for after school care and things of that nature.
Mm-hmm.
And, we have to make sure as mentors and leaders of the community to have programming is how do we reach out to the masses of our people? And, that's one of the real models that I'm looking at. How do I do something in person? But also, how do I keep that hybrid model where I can reach some kids from Oakland? Because it might be something I say that they're not getting there, or somebody in Richmond, right, somebody in Sac, you know what I mean? And that virtual model just kind of helps connect folks. I mean, I had a kid in Houston, Texas, when we first did our first cohort for a couple of weeks because their mom heard about it, and they're like, we don't have nothing like that in Houston, right? So, how do we keep that model of hybridness? And that's just a continued conversation. But I really agree with you that in-person contact, face-to-face, is always the way to go. But as we utilize this technology, right, and we want to reach out to some of those folks who don't have those resources, because a lot of times here in the Bay Area, there's a lot of resources here in the Bay Area, but when you start talking to people outside of the Bay Area, it's not a lot of resources. So making sure that we keep those models in place that can also impact those communities, I think, is very, very important.
I agree.
Well, thank you for coming on tonight. You are no longer a hidden gem. Everybody out there knows who you are, how to connect with you. We will continue to get your information out. If anybody contacts us, we'll make sure we connect them with you. Also, if you have any flyers or any information that's coming out for one of your events, or I know we're coming close to the winter season. If you're going to do something during that time for the young people, please get that information to us so that we can push it out to the community and make sure that we get folks to sign up and support the work you're doing, because I think it's important work. I think our young sisters need it, and it's impact, and that's what it's all about, making sure we impact the young folks.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Y'all have a good evening.
You have a good evening. Thank you very much, Queen.
Okay.
All right, y'all. With that being said, we're going to keep moving along. We kind of trying to get through this. I know everybody waiting. Where's everybody at? We're going to move on to the next guest. We're going to bring up our African-American parent teachers, my APAC folks. I can't never get the acronym. I'm so tired of acronyms, I can't even say them right. But we're going to bring up two important pillars of the community that are doing phenomenal things for our young folks. We're going to bring up Sister Tony and Marisha Robinson. Hello, y'all.
Hi. Hello, everyone.
Good evening.
Right. Good evening, everyone. My name is Tony Hines, and APAC stands for African American Parent Leadership Advisory. Look at me, Council. That was funny, but yeah, African American Parent Advisory Council. There you go. No leadership. All right. The last of my 6 children graduated this past year successfully, and now she goes to SUNO, and she wanted to go to HBCU. So, hey, and she's there. but I'm still navigating the school district with 2 grandsons. So I have a long history with SFUSD. I've experienced many highs and many lows. Marisha?
That's it, Tony. That's all you got for the bio. Tony
Well, I
herself
learned how to adapt, navigate, and connect. Yep, that's all I got.
My name is Marisha Robinson, and I'm also an APAC parent leader, African American Parent Advisory Council for the district APAC. I've got 5 beautiful, beautiful babies, a 21-year-old, 19-year-old, a 16-year-old, a 7-year-old, and a 5-year-old. I have one that's still navigating SFUSD and one that's soon to be incoming. I held previously as a family liaison for Dr. George Washington Carver Elementary School. Whoop, whoop. Shout out to my little school on the hill and my babies and my families. I miss them. I currently now work for the school district as a community engagement manager. That would be my 7-year-old. I'm on live TV. Y'all move. As a community engagement manager for the Educational Placement Center. I'm not native to San Francisco. Nate might know a little bit where I'm from. I grew up in East Palo Alto. I'm a road runner mom. But I'm happy to be here and support the community. My background has always been in community work and uplifting the community. And I'm excited to share more about APAC as it is a hidden gem. We have a few slides to share with y'all tonight just to help ground us in our conversation and give some background information.
Where is your phenomenal husband at? Where's your phenomenal
Mr.
husband?
Robinson?
Come on, man.
You being back in.
Say hi. You can't come on both sides of the conversation and not come speak to me. What's wrong with my brother? Tell him what's going on.
He'll pop up. As soon as he pop up, I'll let you know.
All right.
He'll come up in a second. He just got home from work. Let me get my screen ready so I can share these slides with y'all so we can get our conversation started. Thank you for having us. Let's share screen. I got all kind of stuff up here, huh? They're asking to see you.
You might have to hit your 3 tabs. It's like a Google tab up there when you share it.
I got it.
Okay,
can you still see? Y'all still see me? There goes Mr. Robinson. This is my husband, Mr. Raymond Robinson. He is native to San Francisco.
Robinson? Hey, I got a relationship part 2 conversation, man. You promised me you was gonna come back. This is the last one for the year. I need to see you on the 21st.
Sign me up.
All right, I got you.
All right.
Good seeing you.
All righty, let me get this going for y'all. Share screen, window, presentation, share, slideshow.
All right, there we go. It's up.
Okay, hold on. All righty, here we go.
All right. The theme for this year for APAC is Black Resilience and Accountability. We hope to express the need for both as we go through this presentation. We as a people are innately resilient, but that resilience takes work. I lean on my ancestors daily to continue their work. Next slide, Marisha.
I got it. There you go, Tony.
APAC is a parent-led organization founded in 2013. APAC is supported by the African American Achievement and Leadership Initiative, also known as ALI, via Letitia Irving, and works in partnership with many district departments, community-based organizations, and a host of other district advisories. Our mission, as seen on the screen, can be captured in 3 verbs: listen, educate, and advocate. Some advising to the Board of Education, hosting monthly meetings, direct advocacy when needed. We support site-based affinity spaces at our school sites, and we send out monthly updates to keep families and partners up to date of opportunities, resources, and information that may be relevant to them. Next slide. This is our year in review. Every year we survey APAC participants and our members and ask what they would like APAC to focus on. Last year, that focus was centering and uplifting Black identity, experiences, and culture. We also provide real-time access to basic needs such as food, technology, learning materials, books for our babies with Black subject matter, and other supports and resources to families of Black children in SFUSD during distance learning. Much like last year, APAC served nonstop. We held 2 leadership retreats, and we'd like to thank Dr. Matthews, our superintendent, because he facilitated our mid-year retreat, and he gave us books and continued our work effectively as a functional team. We held 8 general meetings with APAC leaders represented on 7 district committees. We hosted town halls and watch parties. We conducted distance learning surveys and reported them back to the district leadership to help support our families. We sent out monthly newsletters to families, staff, and community partners, and we distributed over 1,000 books with Black characters and authors. We are proud of what we have been able to accomplish over the past year. We're most proud of the fact that Black families see us as a resource and a safe place for them to join us monthly or reach out to when assistance is needed. Next slide. As mentioned, we held 2 retreats a year. During our summer planning retreat in August, we compiled some of our wins and missed opportunities during the past year. Looking back gave us something to celebrate, where will also give us guidance as we continue to grow into the next year. Some of our wins, we like to call them glitter, are consistent support to families during distant learning and increasing the way to navigate SFUSD systems and city resources. We updated our operating guide. This was a huge lift. I am so glad we're able to finally tackle this task and create a roadmap that will support families for years to come. We aligned with other advisory groups and continue to strengthen our partnership with Community Advisory Committee for Special Education. And we'd like to thank them for all that they do. As a validation of all our hard work, we are the proud recipients of the Dreamkeeper San Francisco grant. We'll talk about the grant in the upcoming slide. Some of our missed opportunities were growing our new site-based affinity groups. During the pandemic, it was hard to get to the different locations. We want to give a shout out to our administrators and staff, community partners, and families at our school sites who did their best to keep affinity spaces up and going in a virtual world. Unfortunately, not all our schools were able to sustain virtually. Recognizing our current sites, onboarding new sites continue to be our priority. And we also have new leadership members. Our missed opportunities includes recruiting new APAC leaders, but we do have some. But we also saw capacity overload for families, parent leaders, and ourselves who takes care of the caretakers. We're all leaders and we just keep pushing through, but this is not sustainable. Prioritizing well-being and self-care is also a priority this year. Self-care is an act of resilience as much as an act of resistance. Next slide. Marisha?
Thank you, Tony. So as Tony reviewed, that was some of the work that we did in the previous years. And here's what 21-22 is going to lead us to focus and shift on. We're going to focus on some Black resilience, just celebrating and nurturing the resilience of our Black families in the district and throughout the city. An extremely increased focus on social and emotional well-being. APAC is also looking to build the families' navigational capacity of SFUSD. That's a system, y'all, and we need to learn how to navigate that system so we can get the best for our babies. We also are focusing on accountability. Ain't nobody gets out of jail free. Ain't no get out of jail free cards. We holding each and everybody accountable. Our own, especially those that do damage to destroy our own. We're going to push for greater transparency within the district. We're going to ask that the district is responsive to Black families' requests, concerns, and suggestions. And we're going to make sure that we have a seat at that table, right? By partnering and collaborating to be a part of the change that we deserve. Also, expansion. We are super excited to be expanding our reach outside of the district due large in part into the Dream Keepers grant that we were honored to receive. And it's going to help us increasing building site-based affinity spaces. So, you know, all our schools don't have a safe space for Black families and kids. We want to increase that, right? We also want to build up the advocacy muscles and others, and grow our APAC leadership team. This work is a lot, and the current leaders we have right now are holding a lot, but we do it with love, and we do it for the people. But we could also use some help. And we get to expand and hire some additional staff with our funding as well, which will help us reach outside of those district walls and into the city, so that we can build those collaborations and partnership with community. There's something unique about a structure of APAC, right? Like, it's a body of parents. We are families. Like, I might work for the district a little bit, but before I ever worked and stepped foot and got paid $1 from SFUSD, I was just a parent volunteer. I was just a Black mama looking for solutions for her baby that was in this massive system that was navigating SFUSD as a whole. I didn't know nothing about it. So I was just looking for a space to fit in and belong and find others who were looking for the same thing. And through that, I found APAC. And APAC is phenomenal in the fact that parents, we make the guides, we make the rules, we make the meetings, we do the policies, we do the advocating, we do the celebrating. Like, families lead the charge in every way that it exists. And so we're excited that we actually now have a guide. We have been able to capture all of those moves that we've been making and all of those policy changes that we've been doing and the way that we do them into written format, and be able to share that with other organizations who are who want to build strong Black affinity spaces within school sites and community. A little bit more about our funding and our staffing. So right now, APAC does have some funding through the African American Leadership Initiative, better known as ALI, through SFUSD, and that's through a grant that Salesforce have. It was a tiny, super little bitty grant, y'all. It was like 20 grand. We was working miracles with that 20 grand, but it was there, and that's how most of our funding was in the past. And then we were a part of the Dream Keepers Initiative. All of our hard work and all of the things that we had did in the past as an APAC, we were awarded $150,000 to expand and grow our APAC and keep the movement going. That money is going to go towards staffing, professional developing, marketing, and just really building a solid foundation of Black families that want to do the work of advocating for their babies on behalf of these educational systems that they're in. We've got lots of measurable outcomes and big ideas, all kinds of things to share. But in this space, we can't really share it right now. So we welcome the opportunity to come back and share the details of how we're going to do all the things we're planning to accomplish. We, as part of the structure that we are able to present to the board and do recommendations, right? So we have a seat at that particular table where we sit on a dais once a year and be like, look, these are the things that we need for our families. These are what our families are asking for. This is what we're advocating for. And these are our recommendations to the board. This year, we are recommending that the district builds true partnership, two-way communication, right? Not you just dumping a whole bunch of stuff on me and informing me about what you want and need, but us being able to communicate with you and you doing the same back. Full and transparent implementation of the CSACE plan. So as you guys know, Black babies have been overrepresented in special education, and the district was given some money to help end and stop that overrepresentation and the implicit bias that's going on. And APAC has been an active participant of that from the beginning, and we're going to see it through to the end to make sure that the implementation is transparent and that they're doing it to full capacity and it's intentional and purposeful. And then a seat at the table. While we get into some seats, there's some bigger seats that APAC wants to jump into. The school district is looking to get a new superintendent. We need our families' voices to be involved in that search. Sometimes we want to be at the table when those unions are deciding what our teachers can and cannot do. That's a part of that accountability tool, right? How do we hold staff accountable when we don't know what their contracts are? And then again, sitting on our district committees. There are tons of district committees that exist that are making moves behind the scenes. But if you're not sitting at that table, you don't know what policies are being removed, replaced, or are bringing brand new policies in. Nothing for us can be done without us. And we stand strong by that. All right. And that brings us to the end of this. A quick thank you from our leadership team, our other members that are not here, Hope, Mary, and Rianda, and a special welcome to our new members as well. And a shout out to our program manager, Miss Letitia Irving, Yes. And that's all. And I'm sorry, y'all. A big shout out to our community in our village. All y'all names is listed up in there, but yeah, we can't do it without our village. We depend on our village. And I'll stop this share and open it up for discussion because I've been talking for a minute. Hold on. Where to stop share?
Maurice, the only thing I want to add is that we are asking for anti-racist practices, policies, and training, because some things are just deeper than, you know, what we really know, and we just want to uncover that. And there was a question about, are we with the SF, the teachers? And we do work with them also, the Black Teacher Alliance.
Yes, we do work with the San Francisco Alliance of Black School Educators. That work goes hand in hand. So if you see APAC going, the Alliance is right there with us. If an APAC is throwing an event, guaranteed one of the aunties from the Alliance was like, baby, you got to get this going and get going right. If the Alliance is doing something, they're bringing us right along with them as well. The Alliance has started a affinity group of educators within the group. They was like, you got to have parents in this group, and here they come bringing APAC along. Also, we attend conferences together. As you know, the educational system being what it is, you got to have work inside and outside. And the Alliance are educators who work for the districts in those classrooms, in those schools. So we cannot do nothing without them. So our part, yeah, we like this. Them all my aunties, they be checking the cash in me so bad, y'all. Checking the cash.
Hey, John, before you go, just I know you about to dig in. I just want to, just one thing. I mean, this is great. This is something that I've been attending a few of you guys' meetings, and it's definitely great. And what I want to just go back to where you guys, you know, a lot of organizations say, oh, we're great at this and great at that. You guys highlighted your failures, and that just keeps you real and authentic. So I just appreciate that. And that gives you more credibility that anyone would know. Ain't nothing wrong with failing in certain departments and how you can improve yourself. And that's big. I just want to highlight that and just say thank you, because no one's perfect. We're out there all trying to do the work. We ain't going to get it right all the time, and we'll look for help where it's needed. So I just want to appreciate you. Tony, I put you know how to get in contact with me if you need me.
I just want to give a huge shout out to Letitia Irving and her leadership and all this stuff. I was about to say Letitia because she know that's a joke. It's a joke. It's a joke. But you know, just proud of the leadership that you all have, and just the commitment that you all are getting with our community families. You know, I don't know how you all retain those folks and keep them coming. I think it's the cooking. So maybe me and Nate could get invited to the next cookout. I'm sure Tony or somebody's cooking something really good because y'all seem to keep the community engaged, the families engaged. And it's very important work that you all are doing. So I also want to salute you all for the work you've done, especially during the COVID and the advocacy work that was taking place. And we know you all behind the scenes are advocating for our Black babies. And Miss Irving is one of the most advocates in our community. I can say that are always advocating for our community. I see you all at all the visits. Miss Tony, you know, you everywhere, just advocating for not only the babies, but for the community, everybody. So we appreciate that leadership. But while you all are recruiting, we're going to get you all information up there. We need our Black families. We know there's a small percentage of Black families in the community. And, you know, while you all are on this journey, you know, I'm also trying to figure out how do we get the Black parents involved in the PTA? Because I go to some of these schools and there's no PTA for the Black kid. I mean, it's very small representative, right? But for whatever reason, in the avenues and other places, you know, they have that representation. So how do we create a PTA for Black students in this city since it is a small portion? I think it's like 4,000 or 5,000 students, but how do we get our parents involved? And I think it came up that maybe the parents of the community should start a nonprofit or something, but we got to get our Black parents involved on these PTAs, and we got to organize. And I know you all are doing that part, but I mean, each individual school, there's funding and things that can be raised for our Black kids in our community, and we just don't have that PTA. So how do we collectively get our community families involved to organize so that we can make sure that the funding and the things that we can get into our schools for our young people so that they can be impacted? I'm getting a lot of calls from, every different schools. Our young people are struggling in the schools, and how do we get the mentors and the different folks to come into the schools to help support our young folks?
Why we have to join the PTA? Both sides of the conversation.
I'm just asking.
I don't know if you actually know how PTAs are structured and set up. They charge for membership. You pay some other folks some money. You have to abide by their structure and their rules. You have to attend their meetings and their trainings. It's another system that's set up that works for some, but then may not work for all. And
but how do we make it work for us? How do we make it work for us? Because I believe that there's a place for us. It's just how do we make it work for us?
I think it starts with just the building the advocacy bone, right? Building the bone to say, I want a seat at that table. Y'all have a PTA. I want to join the PTA. PTA meetings are supposed to be open to everybody, but not every school site has the parent capacity, or not capacity, I'm sorry, the parent capital, the human capital to run and fund a PTA. That takes a lot of work. That's like another full-time job in its own. But I think there is some thought to be given to how we can create structures and systems that are raising money just for Black children and babies within the school site, and how we can hold our PTAs accountable and make sure that their funding is spread to every baby in the school and not just the chosen babies.
So I have a slightly different answer because I did both, especially with my last child, K through 12. One of my middle names is both and. So I did both. And I will say, I always felt welcome, but even when my child was going to Star King for elementary, I would beg parents to come. It was right across the street, but for them, it wasn't welcoming. That was their feedback. I feel welcome. I have fun with a paper bag. I like me, so I can sit and be welcome wherever I go. But I have an understanding where if you're not feeling welcomed, if you're not feeling included, that you may not want to go. So I think that's one thing also, and that's the leadership of the school about the culture climate. And so it's like a divide. Now, the young men that I'm navigating school district right now both go to Burton. And again, I was like, what's y'all PTA? The lady, trust me, popped right up on me. And she did ask me to come sell some stuff at the football game. I'm a hater. I was like, oh, they just playing each other and didn't do it. But I again felt welcome. I asked and she popped up that quick because I showed interest. So some people need more of their culture because there's not really a lot of African-American parents there. None of the ones I was involved in, but I felt comfortable anyway. So I think that's one thing.
And can I add to that, our site-based APACs can act as PTAs. And so part of our goals is expanding that, right? So being able to have, now we got the financial capital to do that. So now be able to have the human capital to build those out.
Okay, well, that's all I want to know. If it's APAC, let's go APAC. I want to get 100.
Let's go. I'm going to hold you to that.
I'm ready to come march with y'all. We can go down to the school board and we can raise hell. I'm ready. I'm down.
Well, wait a minute. I have a Marisha question. Why we got to go to their school board? Why can't we have our own Black school board? We had an article that we just passed amongst ourselves, but I've been hearing about the parallel school board. So why we got to go to their school board?
So what do y'all think about community schools?
I think schools with Black that are 70% Black are community schools and not getting the right resources and funding without the name. But I think they are community.
Well, we don't have no schools in San Francisco that's 70% Black folks.
I just left one. What you say? I know you're not talking about my school on the hill. I know you're not talking about my school, or the school that's to the left to it, or the school that's behind it. Put your money where your mouth is. Go visit my school sites. The babies is there.
I'm talking about the public school. It's a public school with 70%. Yes. Right? Okay, my data are wrong then.
Well,
Carver Elementary School.
Yeah,
we have Malcolm X. Drew.
Okay, well, I got to go back and check my number because I thought we was lacking in the kids in the city.
No, I just want to. Yeah, but I just want to say, I definitely hope and well, I already know APAC will be at the table with all these. I'm just looking at the news, all these budget these budget cuts coming up to the school district. So I just want to make sure that y'all got that voice. Make sure y'all ain't letting them short changes. But I know y'all won't. I know y'all gonna make sure that y'all put it on for our kids.
Nate, I'll be there. I just want to know what's on the menu because I know they cook some good food. If I'm gonna sit out there in the cold and wait on the public calls, I need to know where is my food.
We got you, and I still have crocodile in my freezer for you. How about that?
Man.
I'm about
yeah,
to
that's right. I forgot. I gotta come get my gator from you. That's right. I'm gonna call you. I gotta come get my gator.
Okay, if not, I'm gonna cook it. If not,
okay, all right. I'm gonna come get it. I gotta come get my gator.
But what I was gonna say to Nate is, even with your program, we just need the community behind us. Because I done had many a crabs and been to Vegas with you, you know, sent all the prayers out because some of my grandsons have been through your program. So I was part of the community. I'm not the only one, but that's what APAC needs also. Community involvement, community support. Because what the Warriors say, there's strength in numbers.
Yeah, well, you know you can call on me. Just let me know. We'll be there.
Yeah, I'll be there. I'll be extra there when y'all give me the menu. Extra. See, I'm just gonna keep it real because you know I was always against those foods, and I seem like the only way we could get people to show up is food. So I'm waiting there. I'm just like, give me some extra fish, something. I'll be there. No, but thank you, you all for your leadership and coming on and really giving us information to the community, because a lot of times, you know, we have these acronyms and we hear about organizations in our community, always don't know who you all are or what you're doing. I just think that short presentation tonight was very powerful. And, you know, y'all going to come on and do an educational Thursday presentation as well. So we want to do a whole.
We will, sure, as long as it's not on the third Thursday, because APAC meets every third Thursday. This month of November, we will not be meeting, but every third Thursday, APAC meets for their general meeting, and it's virtually, so y'all can hop on Zoom and join us.
Yeah, I was on the last call. Too. I was on the last call. Y'all was calling me out, and I was on 3 meetings, and they was like, "John Henry, I know you."
Because we wanted to make sure you was in your breakout room. Magic happens in those breakout rooms.
I know.
Well, you tell me what other meeting you can get superintendents, assistant superintendents, and all kinds of other district folks in a space and ask them real questions and get real answers.
No,
so
you're right.
Sure
so I just want to apologize to y'all on the air because I was doing a live show and I was on 2 other board meetings and y'all was calling my name and people was like texting me, John Henry, they calling your name. And I felt so bad because I waited all month to get to that meeting to say what I wanted to say, and I didn't even get to say it because I had too much going on. But I will be at the next meeting. I promise you all I'll be there. And you all are welcome to come on and book any Thursday that works for you all. Already told Miss Irvin about it, setting y'all up so that we could go a little bit in depth and go through some of that other stuff that you're not able to get through tonight. And then we're here to support you all through the Dream Keeper, whatever we can do to help y'all with outreach. Please utilize us. That's what we're here for, to connect with you all and make sure that you have a successful run with all the work that you all doing, because it's very important, the impact that you all have with our families, with our young people. And like Tony said, just, you know, bringing those intersections together and making sure that we do have a seat at the table. And I think that's very powerful, what you all are doing, because you're right, you know, to really have equity and what's going on in the school district, we have to have access to a seat at the table, especially like you said, Marisha, about hiring a new superintendent and over some of the policies with the unions and things of that nature, that really impacts our community. So really, you know, thankful that you all are doing that.
Last thing I want to add, before I joined APAC, sometimes I felt kind of tokenized, like, yeah, here she is by herself again. We're going to listen to you. But again, it wasn't even real empowerment. Well, they don't empower me, real power. But now that they see us show up, we articulate. And it's like, okay, I can switch up because I can get a little angry about some things going on. And say I'm a great grandmother. They can't stop me from getting mad. I've been here a while. And I've seen the same thing over and over again about the opportunities for our babies or the lack of. So APAC is really a place to grow, to learn. And I mean, you learn the subtle things. For example, I can do the Zoom. Thank you, Miss Robinson. Before that, I was like, what button, how, what? Now I can do a little thing behind the scene. That's empowering. So things like that. And I also add, my Mr. popped in.
I
That's
saw
my
him. I was
backbone.
trying to say what's up to him, but I was talking. I saw him.
Yeah, that's what drove me to get that crocodile. Was in New Orleans, so that's my backbone. But yeah, so APAC is really a good place to learn, whatever level you fit in. You know, we're all equal and we learn from each other. So I just want to put that out there. We are family. That's all I want to say. And we've had a couple of new babies born during the pandemic. So our family is growing that way too. It just don't stop, y'all. It don't stop.
And thank you, Tony. I know you caught yourself because we was on that Zoom last Saturday about empowerment when we talk about the colonializing of our countries. So I see you caught yourself. That's good. I had to stop saying that too. I was telling somebody, I gotta empower. I said, I can't say that no more. But that's good stuff. But thank you both and the APAC family for the amazing work that you all continue to do to impact our community. We appreciate you, Marisha. I mean, I see you at the community events, always out engaging with the community, and you always tap me on my shoulder like, you know who I am. We always got these masks on. But you know, Tony, I always see you everywhere in the community. You know, thank you all for your leadership and the work that you are doing to impact our community. Miss Irvin, we see you in the chats, making sure the information get up on the screen. Reach out. And, you know, these are some phenomenal leaders of our community, and they are doing amazing things to impact our educational system for our young people. So thank you all again. You are no longer hidden gems. We know who you all are, and we appreciate the work you do. Community, when the APAC call, we must show up and support them. If they have a meeting or a committee, we need to be there to support. So thank you again, and we appreciate you all for being here tonight in space with us. And also, we'll be looking forward upcoming for a educational Thursday and also some Sunday conversations. I know we're gonna put something together as the school year next year continues. And tell your husband, Miss Robinson, I will be reaching out to him. I would like to get him on the panel for our Sunday conversation on November 21st, our relationship part 2 conversation. And you're more than welcome to pop in. And we want to get that perspective as y'all lovely family there you all have. I think y'all could give some great perspectives to the community. So looking forward to seeing you all soon. Thank you all for being here tonight, and we're looking forward to seeing you all soon.
Thank you.
All right. Good evening. All right, we're going to get this sister up here. We have 2 more hidden gems. They've been waiting patiently, but we're going to get this sister up here, Miss Tiffany, up on the screen. She is doing some phenomenal stuff.
Hey,
and I've been trying to get her on my show for a little while now, and now I got you. See, you know both sides of the conversation. You know, the people go track you down and say you better get on there and come see John Henry.
absolutely. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, good. Hi, everybody. My name is Tiffany Woodfield, and I am part owner of Canty Woodfield LLC. We are a business development, a business that we started here in the Bayview District. And what we do are we create businesses to help with economic development in the Bayview. I am a Bayview native. I am also the co-owner of Balloon Sisters SF. We have been doing a couple of events throughout the city, around the neighborhood, just trying to create happiness throughout the community. So this new business that we have started is Tiffany Notary, and I am Tiffany the Notary. So what I did was I noticed that there was a need for those services here in our community. Recently, I had to get documents notarized to get some death certificates for my grandparents, and unfortunately, I was not able to locate one here in the Bayview. So I had to go search for a UPS store and have them notarize the documents for me in a different district. And I felt like that was not okay. Like I needed to be able to get those services in my community where I live, so that that dollar that I'm giving them to notarize the documents is being circulated again here, not going to somewhere else. Years ago, there was a notary on Paloux and 3rd that I did go to have services done, but since then, I've not known of anyone else here that is doing that. So that's where I come in to provide that service for our community. I want to focus on making sure that we get those important documents signed, like those power of attorneys. We need to make sure that these homes that we own, that those documents are set up right so that we're not losing our property here in Bayview on this point. A lot of times our grandparents did not do any of those documents. And so now we're just losing out on all that value of those homes that they purchased in a year. years. And I want to be that person to assist you with making sure that those documents are notarized and they get down to the right location to make sure you keep what's yours.
Wow, great, powerful stuff. I mean, I've been trying. I don't know if it's you or your co-founder that be, always sending my messages into the DMs, right? And I've been trying to get her. That's you, okay? All right, I'm talking to the right person. I'm gonna be like, so we got an event coming up, and I want to make sure that we support you. So I got to connect with you so I can get a price for our skate event, so we can get some balloons from you, because y'all all over the place. Y'all always doing stuff. And I told them, and I think it was your co-founder that was on here before. Maybe it was you, but I said, okay, I'm forgetting. There's a lot of people, but I don't forget it. I'm losing a little bit of this little mind here, but I don't never forget it. I told you I'm a man of my word. I said the first event we do, I'm going to make sure I support your business, and I'm going to be a man of my word, and I'm going to reach offline to make sure we get some balloons for this skate event, because I did tell you that the first event we do, that's a both sides of the conversation event, I will make sure that I will purchase the balloons. So we are going to get some balloons for you. So I got to connect with you on that. But I think, going into the notary stuff, I think it's very powerful. And again, we're always talking about being the change in our community.
Right.
And, I really respect that the work that you're doing in that is because when we have a need, in our community, it takes community folks to step up to fill that void. And a lot of times, in our community, we have problems and things happening, and we just yell, kick, and complain, but we don't do anything, right? And then once we do what needs to be done, we don't get the people to support us, right? So tonight is the night, community, as everybody is getting ready for the holidays. If you need notary work, we got taxes coming up, people selling houses, all kinds of stuff. Make sure you reach out to Tiffany and support her business and get all your documents notarized. There's a number of documents from medical everywhere that needs to be notarized.
Absolutely.
We have somebody locally in our community. And this is what Black empowerment is about, right? We spend our dollars with our people to help uplift them.
Right.
Because it's going to be people like you, Tiffany, that's going to hire people that look like us, right?
Absolutely.
So again, when we're talking about patronizing our businesses, this is what this looks like. Patronizing our businesses and making sure that they get the support. And we're going to do our part here at both sides of the conversation to make sure we support your business. If there's anything that we have to get notarized, because I know you'll get something notarized soon. Everybody's pissing me off, so I'm sure I'm going to have to get something notarized. But I'll make sure I'll get over there to you and just give me a call. Stamp seal.
You got some business in the chat right now, John.
Hey, Coach.
You got some business in the chat right now.
Right.
Somebody in the chat that Tony wants. She said she needs somebody ASAP.
Right.
Tony is my son's grandmother, so she already know how to get in contact.
Yes. All right. Good to see you. I'm glad you're doing well.
Thank you.
This is much needed.
Yes. I was like, who's notarizing in the community? Nobody. I mean, I think there may be someone, but I don't know where they are. And I want to be that person that when you think you need some papers notarized, you just hit me up and I'll come to you. I'm mobile. So I move around. I'm not just stuck in this one location. And then in addition to notary, I'm trying to move on to also being a loan signing agent. So also we're helping people buy these homes in this neighborhood. They're not as expensive as you think they are, but you just need to get the right information and have the right documents notarized.
Wow, powerful stuff. I am glad that you're doing it. You never know when you're going to need a notary.
Nope.
And now, are you a mobile notary? Because I just want to make sure. Are you mobile? Okay, that's what I'm talking about. There you go, community. Yeah. See, for our elders of the community, Tiffany will pull right up on you. Quick, fast, easy, job well done, in and out. I think that's what it's all about. But definitely, far as the Balloon Sisters, they are popping, y'all.
Thank you.
I see all the amazing events that y'all do, and I said I am now having my event, and I want to make sure that I get those balloons, because if I don't buy those balloons from you, I know you're gonna come for me, right? Okay, so I'm gonna make sure that we connect after here.
Thank
I'll
you.
text you or something. I'll cash app you. But we just need something, nothing special or fancy.
Okay,
But I want it because I know it's last minute. But I was reaching out to you last week and I didn't get a response back.
It's all
but
good. It's all
yeah,
good. Just
so
let me know
I'll
when
make
it's
sure
good.
that we get it and we take care of you because that's what we hear about at both sides of the conversation. Even though people think we have millions and millions of dollars, it's just me.
I know.
It's just a small little small little budget.
I
But
appreciate you.
I make sure I impact my people though. Right? I try to
appreciate
spend my dollars
you.
with my people and uplift them. But definitely we will be sending you some money soon. Maybe after here, I'll cash app you. Give me your price, and then we'll set it up so that we can have balloons for our both sides of the conversation skate event.
Absolutely.
I think that is a very important event to unify our communities and way to bless our event with Balloon Sisters.
Yes,
you know what I mean? And then I'll be out there telling people, see these beautiful balloons that was created for both sides of the conversation.
Yes.
Reach out to the Balloon Sisters for your
That's
next event.
right.
You see what I'm saying? That's how we have to do it.
Flyers.
Okay. All right. Well, can you hang on? Because
Yeah.
I want to bring everybody up, but I got Dana. I believe she's
Yeah.
still here. She said she had to go, but she might be still here. Let me see if I can get her up real quick because I know she's been waiting patiently. But if you can hang on, we'll bring
Yeah.
everybody up real quick.
Absolutely. Thank
All right.
you.
Hang in there. Hang in there. All right. We're going to bring up Miss Dana, who's been waiting patiently. And I know she has to get out of here. Thank you for waiting so patiently.
No
But
problem.
please,
no problem.
Queen, go ahead and introduce yourself to the community. Let them know who you are, what you're doing, and we'll go from there.
So my name is Dana. I'm Dana Cheatham. I'm the founder and director of Total Woman Empowerment. The organization is about helping women understand the impact of trauma, helping them understand how it actually serves as a filter as a filter in our lives and actually changes. If we don't understand what our trauma is and how it has affected us, it actually changes the trajectory of our lives. Yeah, that's me. And that's Total Woman Empowerment in a nutshell. I definitely would like to reschedule because there's so much to talk about with the organization, what we're doing with the Dream Keepers initiatives. So just a little small piece. We predominantly work with women. However, one of the things my organization was talking about is like, how do we empower our women and then leave our men behind? And with the work, we understand that it's really important for our young people to understand how the trauma has affected them, because later on in life, it actually manifests if they don't have an understanding of it. So with the Dream Keepers initiative right now, we have Destined for Greatness, which is a 4-module program that helps women and men, young people, understand not only their trauma, but also creates a pathway out of poverty, out of incarceration. Yeah. So.
Wow, powerful stuff. I mean, I'm glad you said that because that is one of the things that I'm always advocating for: mental health, especially in the Black community. But again, you hit the nail right on the coffin. We have to get the mental health for the males of the community. Okay, I keep telling these folks, I'm in these meetings, and I'm not saying that our Black women in the community don't need mental health support. But again, the continued funding and support in our community from our city and counties across this country, the funding is always going to the Black women of our community. This is no knock. I don't want nobody to think that I have a problem because they're going to be, John Henry always saying something about the women. But again, how do we empower our community for our males? Okay, when we talk about the violence, when we talk about the incarceration, when we talk about the domestic violence, when we talk about this trauma and all these issues that are impacting our community, a lot of it is perpetuated by Black males, right?
And see, the thing is, we as women, we're not leaving our men, period. So if we empower the woman and then she turns around and goes and our men is not where they're at, then either the energy, we go backwards or we go forwards. So we have to do it as a pair. We're a pair. That's what we were made for, so we can't leave them behind. We as women, we strengthen our men, but also our men they're our underguard. You know what I mean? So we have to, You can't leave them out, period.
Right. Yeah, I just think that's what we have to really emphasize. And I think our women are doing a phenomenal job of the community of having womenhood groups and sisterhood meetings. And I just think the Black males don't get it. I think the only male bonding that sometimes we get is in the barbershop. And then sometimes the male bonding that's happening in the barbershop is not always the best mental health treatment that we need. But again, I'm going to continue to keep advocating. I would love to talk to you more, and I'm sorry you was the last one tonight. We'll definitely get you back on. I know you have to get out of here. I would love to talk with you more. I am trying to find a way that we could get Black clinicians, male clinicians into our city and into our schools to work with our young folks so that we can start dealing with some of this trauma and get some of this mental health healing that is needed. But I know it's going to take some time and some effort, and I would love to partner and collaborate with any of those folks that's doing mental health work. We have some amazing stuff that's going to be coming up. I just heard some phenomenal stuff that's going to be taking place from Collective Impact and, some of the stuff that we're looking to do with Rafiki House. But we got to do something. We got to start having these conversations. We got to start figuring out how to get these techniques and some of these skills that we need to help our community. The males in our community need it now more than ever, as well as the women. But we got to get that balance fixed because it seems that our women are getting it and our men of the community are not. And I want to make sure that we have that equilibrium that comes together, as you said, as one, so that we can have more family therapy. We can have more community therapy. We have to make this mental health cool. And I'm going to keep advocating for it and making sure that I do my part to get the treatment and show these brothers of the community, right? Because I think the biggest thing is vulnerability, not only from our Black women, but Black men in the community that can say, hey, I'm open to be vulnerable and say that I really want to make sure that the other men of our community get that help. And it's so very important to need it because, a lot of times we just think in our community we don't need it. I just lost my mom a month ago, and I'm going to tell you, I've been going to grief counseling, and it's been doing some amazing, amazing things for me. And I just want to continue to make sure that we advocate for mental health in our community and make sure that the men of our community also get these services. Not saying that we're leaving our sisters behind, but I want to make sure we start advocating a little bit more because I think to change the paradigm of our community, we got to get our brothers up to that level of understanding, to wake that consciousness up and dig a little deep and deal with some of those traumas and those issues that impact us. And sometimes it is the childhood trauma. But with that being said, Nate, did you want to say anything quick?
No, I just think you're right on point. I think, one of the reasons why I started this junior NBA league was to foster, fatherhood, to come see their kids playing games and things like that. But there are components that they can use how to reconnect with their child. Some dads come to games for the first time. They ain't seen their dad in about 5 years. And they come to a game and they don't know how to kind of interact with their kid, after seeing them play and things like that. And it goes both ways. Even our young people, they really need it even more now. Mental health and just, with all the things that's going on, there's more violence in the households. I'm getting kids calling, texting me 2-3 in the morning, asking, can I come get them? It's a whole bunch of things going on. So, Sister Dana, I'm just so happy to be in the space with you and learning about your work. And I can't wait till you're back on so we can really dive in deeper with this.
I'm excited. I'll be happy to be here.
Yeah, definitely. I'm gonna take your number down and text you, but I want to connect with some of the other folks in the community that's trying to do this mental health work, and maybe you could do some partnership because I know there's a recruitment going on right now to get some of these clinicians and folks to come into the city to do this work. So I definitely want to get your information and make sure that we keep you connected because again, we need people that look like us. And we need people that are culturally appropriate to handle these situations because it's a little different sometimes, but it's always good to have that approach. And you're right, Nate. And one of the things that I always ask the queens out there, when we're talking about healing and mental health is to make sure that when that male does open up and become vulnerable, to open up and communicate with you. Because I know a lot of the big issues in our community is the Black man don't communicate. We can't get our man to speak up and say anything. But when we do get that safe space for them to open up and be vulnerable, please, women of the community, Don't use those testimonies and that vulnerability weaponized when you're upset, because that just closes the man down in our community, and we're that further away from getting to the results that we need of impact. So I just want to make sure that we always remember that in our community, because a lot of times we let our emotions and anger, impact that gain or that growth that we need from the males in our community. So once we get the kings of the community to open up and be vulnerable, please don't use that against them, as we are trying to build this mental health advocacy in our community.
Let me just also add, unfortunately, trauma is criminalized. So a lot of times people don't understand the outcome or the manifestation of trauma. The backstory very quickly. At 18 years old, I actually went to prison, was sentenced to 26 years to life. I didn't get out of prison until I was 44 years old. But during that time, I came to understand what brought me to that place in my life. And I had to do some work, and I had to understand the trauma that lived inside of me that I thought that I had buried, had reincarnated, and was now living. And so if we don't understand what it looks like and how it plays out, we have our babies. I was 18 years old in prison. We lose a whole generation. So the work is really important. But like I say, it's important that we teach our men, because our women are understanding, but our women shape our babies. So but we need our men to shape our babies. So we got to go back and get the men.
I'm glad you said it. I am looking forward for you to come back, because we got to continue this conversation. But I also believe, when you talk about this work and doing that internal work, I think we have to do a better job. And this is not you personally, but our medical professionals and our clinicians, to really break down what does that look like. Because a lot of times in our community, we hear people like, I'm healing, I've done the work. What does that look like? If there's a person on the street that never did that work, they need to know, what does that look like? And when we're talking about self-evaluation, that's always the top of the list. But how do we tap into that trauma? How do we tap into that past for that trauma that took place, whether we was molested or something happened? How do we go back? Because some people try to block that out their mind and don't want to let that be the reason. So again, when we talking about doing the work and we're healing, because I hear women say it all the time, I'm healing. I went through counseling and I'm healed. And I said, healing is always continuous, right? This work of self is always a continuous thing, but we also need to point out, what does that work look like? So we telling people, you need to do the work, because I hear people all the time, well, you need to go do self-work. You need to do that work. But I don't never hear nobody say what that self-work looks like.
And I'm so glad you said that, because that will be the topic, not what, but how. How do I walk through this and come through it? So I'm looking forward to the next opportunity.
Definitely. Just go ahead whenever you're available. Sign up on the calendar, what fits your schedule, and we definitely get you on first, because I want to hear that, because those are the conversations that I want our community to hear when we got brothers in there, because this platform, is really reaching people. And again, in the privacy of their home, these conversations that we could put together on mental health, wellness, how to do the work, putting those skills and those how-tos. Sometimes someone in their home privately will hear that, go back and start doing that work, because we know there's a stigma, and we know that there's some taboo behind mental health in our community. And I think if we could come on and have that conversation, and that's why I'm pushing so hard to get these clinicians and these different folks to first start getting familiar with the community and having these conversations and educating our community, so that once we get out into the community and we're doing these events and these community events, you're building that relationship up. People say, hey, I saw you on both sides of the conversation. Now they feel comfortable to walk up to you and say, well, hey, you said something pretty interesting. I want to learn a little bit more, right? We got to take baby steps. We got to start at A. I think too many times in our community, we are at Z, and we got to reset in the Black community. We got to start back over the basics and do the baby steps. And I think we can help be a part of that, bringing those intersections together here at both sides of the conversation. But I cannot wait till you get here, because mental health is something that I really, really I'm really on it. And I think as a country, we need to invest the amount of money that we invested in COVID into mental health,
Come on
especially in the
now.
Black and Brown community. So I'm looking forward to that. I mean, there's a lot of things that I'm thinking about, and that's what I was, at this policy retreat, trying to figure out, if we could have COVID and our governors across the United States could put in emergency orders
Mandates
to reduce,
and ordinance.
reduce the amount of training that our nurses need to have to get more nurses into the community. I feel like we need to do the same thing for our Black clinicians. How do we get them out of AA or BA and get them in the community to start doing this work? Because I don't think it needs a PhD to talk to our people. I think we need some people that can listen and understand what's going on in our community, and we can impact change. So looking forward to having you back. Whenever you could get back, sign up. I definitely would like to have you on here. And as we start connecting with our mental health folks, I definitely want to reach out to you as we start putting these Sunday conversation series together, because we're going to have some real week by week series about mental health and some of these issues that are impacting us in our Black and Brown community, as well as just regular Black and Brown health. I mean, we are putting a series together. We are working with some organizations right now. I want to say shout out to Wise Health SF. We're going to be putting some conversations together as well with Miss Brittany. So we got some phenomenal things coming up to impact our community when we talk about not only mental health, but Black and Brown health as a whole, and how it's impacting our community. So thank you. I'll see you soon.
Yes,
And
you
you
will.
have an event or you have anything for the Dreamkeeper that you need us to get out and you want community to show up, please make sure you get us those flyers. Email us at both sides of the conversation at Gmail or info at both sides of BSOTC, and we'll make sure that we get that out for you in the community.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. Thanks for hanging in and being patient. With that being said, we're going to bring up all the panelists from tonight, and we're going to just have a quick question tonight because y'all see I done got passionate about this mental health because I think, this is just kind of where it needs to go as we center and walk out of here tonight, because I heard Monique and I heard Tony and I heard Dana. And we heard from Tiffany talking about the things that's needed in our community, right? And how do we shift our mindset in our community? And it starts with trust. One of the biggest things that we're lacking in the Black community is trust. And my question tonight is, how do we rebuild the trust in our community so that we can attack some of these topics and crises that are happening in our community, because I think that trust factor is missing. So people are less likely to open up. People are less likely to invest with each other. People are less likely to do the work with each other when we don't trust each other. So how do we fix that? What are some of you all thoughts? And anybody can start. What do you think we need to do, or how do we do it in the Black community to rebuild that trust and that openness so that we can get the access and the services that we need?
I think it starts with relationship building, like that. We have to build healthy relationships and be willing to have those conversations that are hard, that are challenging, that we gonna agree to disagree and be okay with that. I think that that's a big down because we don't have community like we used to at all.
Wow, I definitely agree with you. That is definitely something that we can work on. Who want to go next?
Would you repeat the question? I kind of got distracted.
So the question was, how do we build the trust in the community for our community so that we can open up to have the access to the stuff that we need to fix the crisis in our community? How do we fix that? How do we build that trust back? Because in our community, there's a lot of trust issues. And I think that's what holds us back from accessing health and mental health and businesses and support. It's the trust, because so much trauma and things that's taking place. So how do we fix that?
I think that we need to, those that are standing in our leadership stilettos or whatever shoes you want to call them, I call them my stilettos, is go ahead and be vulnerable. Because when you're vulnerable and you talk about your own truth, it encourages others to go ahead and be vulnerable and talk about their truth.
I love it. That was short and sweet. I love it. I think that is the number one thing we need to do in our community. Too many leaders are afraid to tell a story. Too many parents afraid to tell a story. And these kids grow up, and then as we clean up our lives and do a better job, we forget to tell our story to our young folks. And I think the same thing as our community leaders, we climb the educational plateau and we climb the corporate ladder, and we don't want to talk about the skeletons that took place to get us there. And I think that's why you all tonight, Monique, Dana, Tony, and all you coming on are so powerful, because you are talking about that experience of prison and the testimonies. And I think we need to hear that. And as more people in our community hear the struggle before the success, I think more people will be more open to make change. So that's very powerful. I'm glad you said that. Miss Tiffany, you want to say something to Tony?
I think sometimes it's just that when we grew up already separated, just as far as like the sets, the blocks, this, that, this, and that. And so now that we're adults, it's kind of hard for people to come back and say, listen, that was stuff that was happening back then, and we should be adults, so we should be able to move forward and work with each other. But sometimes people use that against you about whatever happened in your youth. And, you know, we have to grow up from that. We can't hold that against somebody that I may have had a fight with them when I was 15, but now that we're 40, they have a business that I might need. I won't utilize them just because of something that happened 15, 20 years ago. That's really sad.
Yeah, I think it happens all the time. I think it's happening now. You know, I fight with people all the time, and I apologize, and they still hold it against me. But I'm going to keep fighting for my community. So it's going to be a lot of people that don't like me, but I still love you. You know, but again, you know, we do have to forgive, and it takes accountability to all the people that we've had our run-ins. I still love you. It's not that I don't love you. I just have my perspective and you have yours, but it's okay. And we have to tell our community it's okay to disagree. And sometimes, like family, we're going to fall out. But if I love you, I love you. There's no love lost. It's just we got to handle it the way we got to handle it. Miss Tony, go ahead. Nate.
Yeah, also I said we need to build relationships in our community, but I also think we just have to reset. Like, we're at a critical time right now. We don't really have time not to trust each other. We need to know that, again, together we're stronger, and not only just be vulnerable and honest, but you got to get some training. And I'm not talking about school and education. I really might need to go talk to my mother. Hey, mama, what did y'all do in the 60s? We don't have to reinvent the wheel, because there's a lot of distrust amongst people that got a lot of work done. So we have to learn about alliance building. We have to learn about really who is your enemy. We have to have those frank conversations. Not only is something that happened in the past, but I have historical enemies. I got to let that go when they're trying to help me. I just do. I don't even know some of these people. Like I said, even with the PTA, I knew real clear I was walking in a different door. I never behaved differently, but I knew it was a different relationship than what, say, for example, APAC. Some of my best friends today are the friends I met when my daughter was 5 years old in the PTA. I mean, we've been to China together. I've cried with them, laughed with them. So we have to learn some alliance buildings amongst ourselves also. But definitely to build trust is just something you got to take that leap. And Nate, I'm going to pull you in here sometimes for some of the things you put in the chat or Facebook, about the people you help the most, hurt you the most. That's nature of the game. They see you doing what you're doing, you trying to help them. I ain't gonna say don't take it personal, because it is personal, but then there's somebody else there ready to give you your roses. So you get filled up. I'm talking about trauma now, Dana. You get filled up where you can. You get that self-care and keep it moving. Because to me, it's not always gonna be built up trust. It's gonna be other things that bind us. So
I'm gonna just tell you like that. Anybody got problem with Miss Tony? Both sides of the conversation, we pulling up. You can't have no problem with Miss Tony. That's my sister right there. You know, she in the community, blessing the people all the time. You know, we love you. And you're right though. We do got to be open and willing to take that chance, and you know, being able to forgive. And I've always tried to be that person to forgive, and you know, but you do have to move on at some point. But it's all love. You know what I mean? Just because we can't work out, I still love you. I'm always gonna support you, and that's just the way it is. And we have to be bigger than that. And that's what I think in the Black community sometimes. You know, when we talk about building those relationships, that's just what it takes. You know, just because me and you can't agree on a partnership or whatever, you know, don't mean I got to put you down, right? I just say, hey, you know, we didn't work out or we couldn't collaborate, but I still love and support you. I'm still going to shoot people to your business and make sure that you bless, you know what I'm saying? But we got people in the community that want to tear down your business, tell people don't do work with you. Like, it's craziness, nonsense in our community, but that's the trauma. And that's the stuff that we got to continue to deal with every day. But Brother Nate, I'm going to leave it to you last to close us out. What do you think? How do we fix these relationships? I know you got the answer.
No. I'm just going to say two things. Reset and pass the torch. You already know what that means, John.
Here we go. See, Nate trying to get me fired up, but I'm not going to do it tonight. I'm going to leave it alone. It's been a long night. I want to get my folks out of here to their families. We thank you for tuning in, but you heard Nate, the elders of the community. It is time to pass the torch. Okay. The way we move forward is we have to relinquish the power. We have to empower our young people. We have to enrich them with information. We cannot allow our elders to go to the grave with all of the information. So to all the elders out there who have the wisdom, who have the knowledge, who knows how to bring the community together, it is time to pass the torch to the young folks in the community so that we can continue to push our community forward. I think Nate's right. I don't want to go there because I could get preacher mode on them, but I ain't gonna do that tonight. All I'm gonna say is all power to the people. Our community is great. We can do this. We will do this, and we just got to start. And if it starts with me, Nate, and these folks here on this call supporting each other and uplifting each other, we'll continue to do that. To all of our both sides of the conversation family, join us this Thursday. We'll have another educational Thursday as we get ready to talk more about financial literacy. We know the road to increasing some of the issues that impact our communities through finance. We have to build wealth. We have to have ownership so that we feel empowered and making sure that we're able to do the things that we do. Because so many times when we don't have the finance, it put us in these situations of mental health, depression, anxiety. So the faster we can learn how to save, how to invest, and how to put our money in the appropriate pots to make sure that we are sustaining our community for the future, I think is very important. And this Thursday, we'll have that education. So if you would like to learn a little bit more about your finances and how to invest and how to handle money, I think this Thursday conversation will be one for you to join. This Sunday, it won't be a Sunday conversation. Our next Sunday conversation will be November the 21st. We'll be having our relationship part 2. This is going to be a firework conversation. If you missed part 1, please go to our YouTube, check out part 1 so you can kind of see where the conversation went. And we're going to pick up from there and add in some other folks to really have a dynamic conversation about relationships in our community. How do we build up the Black love? How do we get our folks, our males and women of the community to work together and build back the Black families, the Black community? Or just how do we deal with each other while we're dating and enjoying each other? I think it's a very important conversation. Who taught you is always the question we ask. Who taught you how to date? Because we think sometimes in our community that information has been moved out of the community. And I think that's why some of the relationship failures and things that we are seeing in our community are being impacted. So we're looking forward to that conversation. With that being said, we'll be out in the community. We'll still be doing our work tomorrow. You'll see me at YGC all weekend. We'll be doing stuff in the community. We'll be pulling up here and there and everywhere because that's what we do here at both sides of the conversation. We support our people. We there. They call us. We come. And we show up and show out. That's what we're going to continue to do. Thank you all for coming on and joining us tonight. All of our amazing hidden gems tonight. We really appreciate y'all. We'll be reaching out to continue to support y'all because this is not a one-stop shop. We don't just come here and leave you alone. We try to make sure we connect with you and continue to support your efforts because what you do is so impactful and so powerful for our community. So thank you all. Thank you, Monique. Thank you, Dana. Thank you, Tony. Thank you, Tiffany, for the continued work that you all do to make sure that our communities are impacted. We love you all. Be safe. Don't forget this Sunday, turn your clock back an hour. Turn your clock back an hour this Sunday. We'll see you all this Thursday. Have a great day.